Hello, come with me if you want to live. That's what Casper says. We're gonna see what's up. The rare gazelle was live today, and I missed that. Today was such the force. So before I get into it, I'm using the well-known archetypes. If they're separated, I want them separated by archetype of person, place, and thing. And a leap year comes every 4 years. The way that I was kind of planning on doing this, because there's only 3 archetypes, is going to be a little different. So I'm going to do person, person, place, thing, and then place, thing, person. And it's going to form like this, whatever. And we're kind of like peering into the chasm. Since Bream went live and has already, I didn't even get to watch it. I watched the first, like, 3, however long it took me to eat a Whopper. And it's not long. So maybe like 5 minutes. And that's being generous of that. But since the door is already open, I'm assuming, and since we're in a leap year, we'll see. We'll see what's up. And it'll just be, I don't know. But last night, like the 8th of what was it? Wands. The 8 of Wands is 8 of Wands. So after I go through the whole spiel last night about the near dark night of 2021, why do they always happen in November? Because I had a near dark night 2019 around Thanksgiving. 2021 around Thanksgiving. Last year, I didn't have one. Or did I? It's like every other November. I'm trying to think. Am I brainy brain? No, that wasn't. I don't think so. Anyway. So today I get an opportunity, and it's basically everything I talked about yesterday, but on if yesterday was on like 6, 7, today was on like 9. And of course, since the healing has healed and the journey has journeyed, I was able to do whatever, no problem. And it ended up becoming a lot more than I thought was going to happen today, for sure. Um, but it's almost like a new offshoot of it's not even one, a new Hydra, a plethora of pathways, I guess, have somewhat presented themselves in the most unexpected of ways. And I was able to like do something a little different. I was able to kind of sort of network unintentionally. And I'm the type of person, like, sometimes it might take me a second to like get the whatever, but once I have a general overall idea of the process, I'm able to like sort of get in and like flow. And then I feel like today, what's interesting is at one point there was a lot of prep work. And then there was a lot of also like transitional work. As like we transitioned from one thing to the next, I was able to like get in and like, anyway. It ended up being a whole thing, and it was a pretty great day, and I didn't expect it. And again, like, it's because I toughed it out in November 2021, that, like when I told y'all, if I would not have toughed it out then, I wouldn't be able to do the job that I'm doing now. I meant it. Anyway. Wow, not my best friend up here trying to gas me up. Okay. She ain't wrong though. There's something weird. It's fine. It's not weird. It's just, I feel like, I don't know. It's fine. Happy leap year, blessings. Hey, Holly. How are you doing today? That's what we're going to do. Of course. Oh, wait, I already knew that. So the Force card came out, which we saw yesterday. It was one of the final cards. And then the Stronghold of the Veil is at the bottom of the deck. Her message, her accompanying card is the Sharpshooter, which is the Eight of Wands. LOL. When I was like, the Eight of Wands is definitely Eight of Wands. Excuse me. Hello, Natasha. How are you? With all that, it was actually a little warmer today than it was yesterday. Yesterday it was very cold. And then what is the SKT for? Oof, not the tower at the cut. But again, we have the Axe of Shiva and the Trishula that removes corruption. So if the tower is towering, it's because it needs to be. But now I'm like, on low key, on the lowest of keys, something will transpire in life. And I don't, maybe it's because I'm in this place where because I don't want for things to be so extreme all the time. And in order to honor that, I don't want to be as stubborn as I could be. And so I'm trying to be like more relaxed. I'm trying to not need things to be so extreme. But lately it seems that like opportunity doesn't come singularly. Or it's like if one thing happens over here within the span of days, then something else happens over here. And I'm like, but where am I supposed to go? What am I supposed to do? When it's just one, you take it. You know what I mean? You pursue it. But when it's like multiple, it's like now I gotta make choices. And I guess the point is that there are no wrong choices. There are a lot of points. And another point is that there is so much that I don't know. And a lot of opportunities are good opportunities, are amazing opportunities, but it's just like, I'm led and guided. But I think that's also a thing for me in my own journey where it's just like to be open sometimes. I don't know. I'm just like, I thought we were going to Hawaii. Now we're talking about Bora Bora. And then there's also Guatemala. I don't know. It's like, yeah, I mean, having options is like not a bad thing. It's almost like hashtag first world problems. You know what I mean? Ooh. Put you back in the deck. Is it in between? Who's in the triple conjunction? I'm assuming the sun and Mercury. No, the sun is a little later. Is it Sun, Mercury, and Saturn? I guess it would have to be those. Yes, because Mercury just entered Pisces, Saturn is early Pisces, and the sun is probably like a. Cool. I'm assuming it's Sun, Mercury, and Saturn. Ooh. It's just weird stuff going on. And it's not weird in a bad way. I feel like everything is getting softer and like warmer. And I'm also getting softer and a little bit warmer. And it's like, what's happening? You know what I mean? I'm like, not that I mind it. I don't mind it at all, actually. It's just strange. Anyway, all right, let's do this. How am I going to do this? So it is 2:29. That's a leap day. So I'm going to do this like I did yesterday, I guess. We're going to pull the second card and then the 29th card from all of these. And then, yeah. Is that how I'm doing this? No. Maybe? Because it'll be person, person, place, person, place. No, person. Yeah, person, place, thing. Thing, place, person. I could just shuffle them and then pull off the top. I'll pull the left side off the top and the right side from the bottom. That's how I'm going to do it. And I guess 229 is 13, 4. Yeah, I'll just do it that way. Excuse me. Oh my gosh. Fine. The archetypes of person are just like, they keep coming out. This one I'm going to leave down here. This is the mystery card. Then I'm going to give these a few shuffles. And again, I'm just going to pull off the top and off the bottom. So arrange thine selves accordingly, and then we will see what cards. Oh, the vow revealed itself. The vow is a card that, the vow and the prayer, I feel like reveal themselves quite frequently. Okay. So we start with the crone, number 13. Let's do it. And then over here, you start with the mask. Ooh. Now, what's interesting? Okay, no, never mind. It isn't. Just kidding. The crow is looking at the mask, though. For a second in my mind, I thought it was like the dark side of it, and then like the mask. But that's not how it came out. The mask is number 61. Now we get another person. And we have the mother. Oh my gosh, are we gonna get the crone, the mother, and the maiden? That would be crazy because this is kind of sort of low key, like maybe the territory of the high priestess, maybe not. The mother and the castle, number 43. And then we have the riddle, 53. We have the mask and the riddle. Nothing from the bottom of the deck is revealing itself. Or it's things that are potential. The womb. So this is on the same line as the mother. 53, 43. Number 1 and 46 is the womb. Interesting. The mother and the castle, the womb and the riddle, the maiden and the mask. And then the third one is the person is the comic. So no maiden. We have the crone, the mother, and the comic. We have the temple, number 39. The comic is number 26. And Thanatos, number 73. 43, 53, 73. And then on this side, we have, yeah, the thread, number 70. The mask, the riddle, the thread. Now, Patrick, what do these cards mean? It's like the years in between, uh, the leap days that we didn't have, right? And now we get like now is the day of revelation from, I don't know, from these. Now we've accumulated enough almost days to get a full day. Then we have the mountain. And finally, we have the orphan. I did this wrong. It was supposed to be 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. So it's supposed to be person, person, place. No, person, yeah, person, place, thing. Thing, place, person. Thing, place, thing. So what are we going to do to remedy this situation? Because I ended up creating this shape that I didn't that I didn't want to create. It was supposed to be 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, and then have the thing like the diagonal in the middle. But it's created this like 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. This like type thing, like do. Which means that something is like almost culminating, they're meeting instead of maintaining that space that I had intended. So maybe that in and of itself is a message. I wouldn't be surprised if it is. Maybe that's part of this energy of revelation. Now, I do still have the SKT Vitruvian. What do we do with you? I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. I rarely know what I'm doing. So 2021, 2022, 2023. The years of days unleapt. We start with the crone and the mask. The crone and the mask are interesting energies. I don't know if there is any one aspect of the triple goddess or one part of divine feminine energy that's any more or less intuitive, just like rawly intuitive. But the longer we live, the more we learn to trust our intuition because we have more life experience to back it. You know what I mean? And so I don't know. I guess I don't know how effective the mask was against the crone, which is basically meaning like, I don't know how complete of a picture the crone was able to get, if that makes sense. Now, what's interesting again for the crone is because the crone is the crone And because she has so much life experience when it comes to her intuition, I almost wonder if there isn't a question of when or if she would realize that she doesn't have the complete picture. Right. Like, let's say that intuition illuminates 10% of an object, and she uses her life experience to try to guess what the object is. And the more that's illuminated, the more that validates her assumption up until maybe like 30, 40, 50%. But then it's almost like, in my mind, I'm seeing it as a thing that's coming into frame, right? So, like, let's say that it's red and circular, and she's like, "Oh, that it's an apple," and then it keeps going, and it's apple. But then when you get like close to halfway, there's no dip and there's no stem. So it's like, so it's not an apple because if for an apple, it would have a dip and a stem. It's something else. Like, that's where I'm like, I wonder how much was like purely intuitive and how much was not revealed or not illuminated. So she had to rely upon other things to like complete the whatever. Now there's also a question of whether or not she had to, right? Because if this was like, I feel like if it were like Queen of Swords type energy, I feel like for some reason, I'm feeling like the Queen of Swords would be the one that's like, I don't know enough to give you an answer. I can give you my best guess. I can give you a guesstimate from what I see and from what I can observe. This is what I'm like being led to believe. But also the Queen of Cups, I feel like could have a nudge that her intuition is off. Not that it's off, it's just like incomplete. Her best guess based upon what is illuminated is off. I feel like the Queen of Swords would be more like, I don't have enough information to give you an answer. And so I'm not going to form an opinion right now because there's too many things that I don't know. And the Queen of Cups would form that opinion, but there may be something within her that's like, I feel like this isn't what I think it is. Almost kind of like a Two of Swords energy, where it's like, based upon what I know and based upon what I see, logically, this is like a logical conclusion, or this is where the signs point, but something within me still knows that it's not right. So I kind of sit at this impasse. Then we have the mother in the castle in the year of 2022. And at the same time, we have the mother in the castle from the top. It was the crone. And it was the crone on the top and the mask on the bottom. This is something that is intentionally hidden, even from the intuitive, because the mask came from the bottom of the deck. Now, if the mask was at the top and the crone were at the bottom, then that would be the crone's ability to intuit things that are not revealed. That would be her like filling in the gaps, even though they're not. Like, she would be able to intuit the other side of this mask and the identity of the person behind it. But since this is from the bottom of the deck, it's like this is what's being presented from the divine, from spirit energetically. So it's something that was not able to be known. So the question is on the crone and whether or not she would be, again, like open enough to the fact that her intuition is incomplete. And if she would allow it to be incomplete, or if she wouldn't give an answer because she feels like she has to, and then just treat it as the truth until more is revealed. Now, 2022 is interesting again because we have the mother in the castle from the top of the deck, but the riddle in the womb on the bottom of the deck. So it's almost like it's like with the mother in the castle, it feels like vessels already. Um, it's where maybe it's because like the eggs or whatever are still here. It's like this mother is like a mother to be. Like it's an egg that is ready to be fertilized. But with the riddle in the womb, it feels like there's something about the energy in 2022 where it still didn't make sense, or it was still too complicated. The logistics were too complicated. And so it could have been like a lot of deliberation or a lot of like, it's not fidgeting, but it feels like a lot of adjustments sort of being made. Um, then in 2023, we get the comic The Temple and Thanatos from the top. And then from the bottom, it's the thread, the mountain, and the orphan. The orphan is the child without a mother. So it's almost like the child was still born. The child was born, not. It's like the child still came into existence, but it didn't come into being through the mother. Obviously, like energetically, it makes sense. I feel like energetically, it's easier to understand. It's like we were looking for something, and our intuition, the way that we validated and interpreted our intuition again, it really falls on the crone in 2021, roughly in the first unlet day. The first unlet day. It fell on the crone. And whether or not, it's almost like whether or not she was able to intuit or receive that she wasn't being given the whole picture. And subsequently, whether or not she almost tried to force something to fit. Because if she would have tried to force something to fit, then this makes a lot of sense. Because then this would be like her intuition told her something and then she went after it. She made herself ready to receive, and she did a whole bunch of stuff in preparation for, and again, because of how it's reading, more so what she believes for something to be rather than what she's intuiting something to be, because the intuition isn't revealing the whole thing. And it's not that there's a right way or a wrong way, because regardless, like the fulfillment of the thing, according to the cards, doesn't come in until like 2023. So here's the year where the intuition picks something up. Here's the year of preparation. Here's the actual manifestation of the thing. Now, this child, it's easiest to read this as an orphan child because this would have been the crone that interprets it over here. It's the mother that's preparing over here, but it comes in over here. But since she's so focused over here, she doesn't notice it as it's like illuminated more and more and more as it's revealed. Like if you get to 60% of the thing and there's still no stem and there's still no dip, like you get to 60% illuminated and it still don't look like an apple. But since 10%, 20%, 30%, it looked like an apple. And so still going on the apple route. Like, whatever this other thing is, she would miss it because she's looking for an apple. Instead of like a red ball. I don't know. Now with this thread, see, this whole thing is just like so almost like confusing. Because even though the child is orphaned, there's this thread. So there's a connection there. But then there's this like mountain. Mountain is 33. And the mountain, you know the song like Ain't No Mountain High Enough? Well, this mountain is high enough. this, this mountain said, oh, you must be used to them little mountains over there. Let's show you an Olympus Mons. I don't know if Olympus Mons is like bigger than the like Mount Everest or the tallest mountain. Is Mount Everest even the tallest? Is it Mount Kilimanjaro? I don't remember what the tallest mountain is. But the connection is still there. The thread is still intact from the bottom of the deck, but there's this Thanatos from the top. And this comic in the temple. The comic in the temple is like when someone feels like in the temple, like they've been made a fool of, like this isn't what the divine promised me. This isn't what my intuition said would happen. This isn't what my discernment, whatever. Meanwhile, again, the whole thing wasn't revealed. And I don't even know if it was like intentionally. I don't know if it was like intentionally partially eliminated or if that was just the process of something coming into being, right? Because the crone is hypersensitive. So it's almost like the crone could tap into the energy of potentialities. But with the way that things transpire, some potentials become more and more possible. So they get heavier and then eventually they breach reality and it happens. And some potentials, based on a whole bunch of stuff, they get lighter and lighter and it becomes this thing that's not going to happen. Maybe it didn't amass enough, or maybe, hey Eve, how you doing today? Maybe in the route that, like, maybe there was a blockage or a restriction somewhere, and so it had to divert and it had to detour. So that's why it came in somewhere else. I don't know. But from the bottom, like the connection is still there. It's like literally just a thread. But over here, it's like this Thanatos. And the comic on the temple. Again, even in 2022, it's the card that it's manifesting as is the riddle. It's still not straightforward. And again, like if these were from the top of the deck, if these were from like more conscious surface level energy, and the crone and the mother were at the bottom of the deck, no. Yeah, if the crone and the mother were at the bottom of I feel like if this were switched, I would read it a different way. Like we were able, whoever this may resonate for, was able to correctly intuit, even though something was partially revealed, even though it was tricky. So am I pulling cards? How am I going to do this? I think I'm going to use the SKT to build this out. So I'm going to do one here, 3 here, and then 5 here. So it's like there's the 1 in the middle, and then there's like 1 and then 2. I mean, they kind of sort of do. And I feel like that's the point. Like if the high priestess, and that was like the Queen of Swords upright, Queen of Cups upright, like Queen of Swords would have been like, I don't have enough information. I'm gonna wait until I see more before I pick a direction or give an answer. So she would have put it on the back burner. And then as more is revealed, now there's enough information for her to do something with. The Queen of Cups, I feel like, would go that intuitive route, but something would tell her that she's off. Or something would tell her it's like it's not what you think it is, or something like that. And she would listen to it. I think like, and that's why the mask is what came from the bottom of the deck. It's because it was supposed to be just left to become a thing. But if we try to make something out of it, that's when we can misinterpret or whatever. And again, it could have just been like, it's not finalized yet because it's still a potential, it's still building. Like we're still deciding, right? So it's like we were supposed to take the break. We were supposed to take a break and focus on other things, more pressing things, more important things, more relevant things to us that are more um, closer, either happening or closer to happening. And that's why, like with the crone, the mother, the castle, the comet, the temple of Thanatos, that was like, oh, like, and then it ends up being like not what we thought it would be. And then again, it's like, yeah, well, like, we didn't say it was happening. Like, we said, like, there's a difference between, like, hey, I'm considering blah, 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 and like, hey, I'm definitely going to whatever. And it was more so one of those considerings. And maybe we made a lot of choices and decisions based upon what was being considered. And then it's like they don't end up going through with it. And we're like, but I already changed my whole life. Like I've already done this and I've already done that. And they're like, but nobody told you to. Like we told you it was very early. We were still considering. And, it just ends up shaking out that something else is a better option. So that's what we're going with. And then it's like, well, why say anything at all? But again, it's almost like this is the crone trying to be very crony because there's just a little bit, and she's just like potentially maybe not respecting, if respecting is the word, the fact that it's still in the works. So, yeah, anyway. I mean, this was just a break on this energy. And again, it's like, it's not like there weren't other things happening. It's like when it amasses enough, you get the day. Then it's like, whatever, anyway. Oh, look, the Wheel of Life is at the bottom of the deck. Who was that? The Healer, the Ivory Shield, the Wheel of Life. The Ivory Shield, especially in the Vitruvian SKT, she's the one that tells me don't go any farther, especially when I'm reading for someone else. You did. I'm just playing. You're fine. Thank you. Well, okay, you haven't said happy birthday yet, but I'm assuming the next thing that you're going to say is either happy birthday or happy belated birthday. Thank you. I had I had one of my best friends be like, oh my gosh, I slept on your birthday. And I was like, you wishing me happy birthday today allows me to continue celebrating my day. So I appreciate it. I'll take it. I'll take some. And also, yesterday was so. It's fine. Don't worry about it. What was I talking about? Thank you. Love you too. The feeling is mutual. Oh. So, wouldn't it be so weird? No, it's fine. But yeah, I am going to wait to reveal this face down card. Okay. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to close my eyes because I just saw the title card. And I'm going to give this a shuffle. I'm going to give this a cut. And then I'll pull a card from the middle. And then I'll do the middle, the top, the bottom, the middle. Well, I'll do the middle first. So it'll be middle, middle, top, bottom, middle, top, top, bottom, bottom. And that's how I built this. So the first card is the joyous one, 10 of Cups, Mars and Pisces. Oof. The second one is the Lovers. What? Flanked by the Knight of Pentacles and the Death. Cool. And then the third card from the middle is, thank you, the Mason. The Three of Pentacles, flanked by the Eminence, Nine of Pentacles. I'll build it out. And the Magus, the Magus, which is the Magician, to the left, and the Nocturne, Two of Pentacles, and the Tower to the right. The Champion, Six of Wands, Jupiter and Leo, is left at the bottom of the deck. This is interesting. So again, in the year of the crone and the mask, it's anchored, centered by the Mason, which is the Three of Pentacles. And in the Three of Pentacles, they are working to create this bridge or this pathway from one side to another side, which is, again, it's almost playing in that energy. It's easy for me to take that as validating the thing that I was talking about, where it's like, this is a potential. It's something that could happen. But, depending on situation, circumstances, maybe through the process, we'll realize like what our needs and our wants are for the project or whatever. And as we get clearer on that, and as things arise, the fine details may shift and change. Now, on one side, it's the Nine of Pentacles and the Magus on the side of the crone. So this would be us. That's like, I feel solid in my whatever. I am going to manifest something. But on the other side, towards the bottom of the deck where the mask is, we have the Nocturne and the Tower. We have the Two of Pentacles and the Tower. The Two of Pentacles is things that are going from a South Node world to a North Node world, vice versa. Literally the card of like potentials. We have the Wheel of Life upright and the Wheel of Life in reverse. And then we also have the Tower. So over here, it's almost like there's this understanding that there's a lot of things that are going to shift and change. And like the Two of Pentacles and the Tower is this like divine, maybe cosmic shifting and shuffling of the board. Like there are potentially like major players that are going to be moved around. Or it's like things that one wouldn't necessarily expect, but because of that because it's next to the Nocturne and it's these two different realities, it feels like it makes it more extreme. And so then in the next year, it's like the lovers meet. What does this say? Mystery of the Covenant. So this is when it's almost like things are starting to happen. It's almost like things are close. It's like communication is opening. about something. It's like when the design team meets the engineering team or something. Like the design team comes up with their ideas, and then the engineering team tells them if it's possible. And based on how possible it is, it's like the engineering team can make suggestions, and then the design team can either like accept those suggestions, work with those suggestions, or completely redesign it in a way that fits the vision but isn't as heavily impacted by the limitations and restrictions of what is possible at the time. And like this is Scorpio coming out under Mars. So after the Two of Pentacles and the Tower on the right side, it comes down to like death. Like things are changing. But with the Magus and the Eminence up here, it's like now they're in this Nine of Pentacles. And again, like this felt like the mother who was ready, like the seed that is ready to be fertilized. Like this is the mother who was like basically nesting because she knows that, like this is the woman who is like nesting because she knows that she's about to be a mother or something like that. Like she just knows it based off of a limited whatever. But on the other side, like things are going through this major transformation. And it's weird. It's not weird because it's the crone. So it's like her intuition is still validated at this point. But from the bottom of the deck, it's again, it's like it's that energy of complications because with the womb is the riddle. Now, whatever needed to shift and change and happen at the bottom of the deck or from the perspective of the bottom of the deck, it happens because we're left at the Ten of Cups. And it's like in the Lovers, we would see two people come together. In the Ten of Cups, we would see their offspring, we would see their children. And I don't know. Oh, we would see their offspring, we would see their children, but it's like there's the orphan. But it feels like everything that is like motivating things or I guess subconscious. Again, it's gone through whatever cleansing purification process it needed to go to. Now it's coming towards the source of the light. It's ready to be born or reborn. But because this is heading in this, like, and it's again, it's interesting because it's almost moving in the right direction, but it's looking back the other way. If I get the right kind, it's looking back the other way. And this scarab, this is almost giving me the moon. It's like the scarab is about to eclipse this pentacle. Now, our mystery card was the poet, number 7. And just like look at that, this orb of light. Shall we read the poet? Why not? Yes, that is very true. It sounds like you're doing better, though. Glad to hear it. The poet, the artist, the witness, the truth teller. The poet's work is to feel immensely and not be afraid. They must seek out truth in the darkest corners of the world and carry it back for all to see. That is so interesting because there was something, it was a Black History Month closing ceremony, and they had an artist up there. And I feel like I can't remember. I mean, I wasn't really able to hear the answer to the question, but they were like, as an artist, how do you balance like, because I'm watching this and he's like talking about healing childhood trauma and raising your vibration. And I'm like, okay, like this is where we are in the world. So on one hand, it's very like interesting, you know, that things like that are so mainstream, but we ain't got to get into it. So, but she was like, like when you're talking about raising vibration and spreading positivity, how do you do that while also at the same time being aware of or spreading awareness of like harsh realities, like what the world is? Like, how do you do both simultaneously? And again, I couldn't hear his answer. So, but the part where the darkest corners of the world and carry it back for all to see. This unique capacity resides within us all, regardless of our relationship to creativity. When the poet energy is present, there is a call for deep honesty and reflection, for seeing the big picture within the little one. The poet rides effortlessly between the personal and universal. It's possible that others may not seem to listen or care about the poet's work, but do not be discouraged. The words of the poet ring true for centuries to come, soothing the wounds of despair and violence that captivate our world. The poet's work is never finished. Find your voice and trust that the wind will carry it. The poet is related to the shaman and the bridge. These archetypes hover in the meeting place between the everyday and the sacred. It's likely there is a poem or poet that was meaningful to you at a young age. Revisit and reread it now. Be open to its message. So, right? I'm like, oh my gosh. I still remember the first time I walked through a Starbucks on campus and someone was like, "What's your sun, moon, and rising?" I was like, "What?" That's gone. What am I supposed to do with this? What did I even go looking for? What is the resolution in this? Let's look at the bottom of the decks. We have the warrior in reverse. Not that these really have reversals. It's just it was in reverse, but it's the warrior. We got the warrior. We have the forest. Ooh. The warrior, the forest. This is interesting because the warrior in the forest is giving me more like meditative vibe. Like the maybe like a retired warrior, or maybe it's a warrior that is cleansing its psyche and mind. It's that thing that Russ talks about in like October when the soldiers come home, but you can't bring war home. And then we have the kiss. Oh, and look, they're holding hands. Not the kiss coming after the lovers and the joyous one. We got the lover and the fighter, or the lovers and the warrior. This feels like revelation. It's like something kisses the mind or the heart or the spirit of the warrior while the warrior is in the forest. That's why it feels like inspiration. It's like the heart or the mind of the warrior is kissed by the divine while they are in their. I don't know if it necessarily has to be solitude, but while they are in a place of stillness. And the champion is at the bottom of the deck over here. This is so the story of the champion, I actually love it because in the SKT, the threes are about prophecy. Three of wands is pyromancy. Three of pentacles is geomancy. Three of Swords is aromancy, and the Three of Cups is hydromancy. But in the suit of Wands and the Three of Wands, three wise men come together for in search of divine revelation to see who the new crown prince is going to be. In the Five of Wands, there's a competition for the throne. At the Six of Wands, we see that the crown prince is actually a princess. So it's like the prophecy still comes true, or it still comes about, but there's something about it that's different than how it was interpreted. So maybe the prophecy was like a new person will sit upon the throne, and since it's always been a man that's been on the throne, they assume that a man would win the competition and take the crown, but a woman actually wins. So the prophecy was just a person. The life experience projected like, oh, well, it'll be like a man because, like, I'm not even going to go there because that's not stuff I believe. But it's just like they thought it would be a man, but it turns out a woman won. And again, like, I feel like it's perfect for this because that's the energy here with the mask, the riddle in the womb, and then the thread, the mountain, and the orphan. It's like no one said it was an apple, but because we see it coming in from the side and we interpret it to be that way and we conduct ourselves as such, it's like we kind of did it to ourselves. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's why I love that it's, and again, I didn't pick that up at first. But that is let me see. Where's my iPad? I don't have to prove anything to anybody, but for the non-believers for the people that's just like, oh, well, you made that up. No, like literally no one's like that. So let me just say, to give myself some whatever, I'm just going to read it from the book. From the Book of Maps. And I actually do have the Vitruvian Book of Maps on my laptop. This is the realm of sixes. There's the sevens. Hold up. It's this one. Oh my gosh. Hello. The nines, the sevens. Here we go. Everything is collapsed. So that's why I'm struggling a little bit. Because usually they're all expanded and it's easy. This is the Six of Wands. It's not even a seven. One second. I think it was Balmy Spirit. Because the sixes is the realm of nurturing. And I was scrolling down my subscription page when I came home, and it was in somebody's title. I feel like it was for Capricorn. Yeah. So Balmy Spirit, Capricorn, three groups, the real meaning of nurturing. I haven't watched it. I just saw it in my subscription box when I was scrolling. But because the realm of sixes is nurturing, I was like, oh. Pythagoreans called the number six the number of the soul. This is harmony between heaven, earth, and man. After the material world is formed, it remains connected to the spirit realm from where it came. And the sixes and the minor arcana are the remaining tethers with the thread and bridge, because that energy, I guess, has been building the bridge or establishing the connection. Again, so like the construction was started here and completed down here. And in the middle, there was this like meeting of minds before the conception of anything. The conception of the children we don't see until the 10 of cups. And again, it's in the following. So, anyway, where the thread is. I'm literally just reading from the book of maps. In the Kabbalistic tree of life, the realm of sixes arises from the Sephira Tiferet, the emanation of heart-centered consciousness, the quest for balance and pulchritude. This is the consciousness of spiritual teaching. 6 is of particular importance in the tarot as the deck itself resonates with the numerological frequency wave of 6. 78 cards reduces to the number 6. There you go. The realm of nurturing. The champion. Excuse me. The prince in the 5 of scepters who was prophesied to become king is now crowned ruler of the realm. It's revealed that this prince was a princess. You know what? I feel like y'all don't trust me enough. That's, I'm just weird, okay? Let me be weird. I can share my screen now. So I'm just gonna like do that. 1 second. What is this? Oh, that's the FE exam I was gonna like practice for. I might still do that. Oh, no, I lost my page. It's fine. But I can show you now. So I'm just gonna show you. Here we go. Share. Oof. Okay. I can't see my screen, so I don't see what y'all see. But over here we see the realm of sixes nurturing. And then the 6 of scepters, the champion. So this is the entry. The prince in the 5 of scepters who was prophesied to become king is now crowned ruler of the realm. It's revealed that this prince was a princess in disguise. The crowned princess wears a laurel wreath upon her head. Another wreath hangs from her scepter, which has punctured her leg, though she appears oblivious to the pain. Upon closer study of her expression, she is beset with pride, self-regard, just a trace of entitlement, and even self-congratulation. The champion is the spirit of confidence and conviction. It is the resolve, determination, confidence, and conviction needed for victory. In the foreground, 5 scepters guard her dominion. At the steps of her feet is a harvested single-born fruit from the tree of knowledge, which the phoenix, the lovers is here. Oh my gosh. Which the phoenix in key 6, the lovers had guarded. So we see at the steps of her feet harvested single-born fruit from the tree of life, which the phoenix in key 6 had guarded. The floor of her dominion is checkered in a Masonic black and white, symbolic of an initiation ceremony, a reminder of the checkered dark and light of the initiate's path to come. Along the back wall are archways that counterclockwise, featuring the 7 double layers corresponding with the 7 planetary cards. Okay. This is the victory of wisdom, wealth, seed, life, dominance, peace, and grace, but also the opposites: folly, poverty, desolation, death, subjugation, war, and ugliness. The narrative links the 5 of scepters and the 6 of scepters, where in the 5, it was prophesied that a prince would be the champion. And here in the 6, we learn that prince is in fact the crown princess. Thus, we understand that how prophecies manifest will not always align with our preconceived socialized notions. To be the champion, one must be oblivious to pain. For there to be victory, there must be self-sacrifice and some measure of self-immolation. Oof, not self-immolation. If you know, you know. There you go. Cool. It's all there. Oh, yeah. And we see this is the fruit, the single born fruit of the tree of knowledge that the phoenix is guarding in the lovers. We see that. Do we see it at her feet? Oh, it's right there. There it is. I've never noticed that before. There's our crown princess. Cool. What was the point of this? I have no clue. Something that we could have misinterpreted over the years. Well, maybe because, again, and this was the interesting, almost confusing part to me. Because even though the child is orphaned, the thread is still there. The connection is still there, even if we would have thought that we were made to look like the clown in the temple or somebody else that we, whatever, and that it was like dead, but beyond dead. Maybe this is just a like, hey, it isn't. That connection is still there. It's almost like reapply your intuition now and see if you don't notice the thing in your life, if that makes sense. But again, it's like this is coming after it feels like this crumb would have been like, oh, well, it's gone. Um, do I have like a high priestessy deck? I mean, the SKT Revelations is one of my more high priestessy decks. Um, but I also, again, like the Ivory Shield is my card of. Did I talk about it? I don't think I talked about it. Because it was the champion, the healer, and the Ivory Shield. The Ivory Shield in this deck, in particular, to me, especially when I'm reading for someone else, is my hard stop card. And it's my hard stop card because everything beyond that point, like if I'm reading for you and she comes out in that way to me, it's like it's very possible that it's like there are two scenarios. Scenario number one is like you're not meant to know what's beyond that point. Everything beyond that point is meant to be experienced because if you take current knowledge into a future situation, you're already limiting yourself because there are going to be things that you know then that you don't know now. There are going to be experiences that you're going to have by then that you don't even have a clue because the miracle, opportunity, whatever hasn't come into your awareness yet. You haven't taken the class yet. So, like, you, like, if you don't, if you're supposed to learn multiplication this year, and I tell you you're going to have to do 525 times 3,280, and you don't even know multiplication, what are you going to do? Make up a number? You know what I mean? Some people apparently will and treat it like the truth. It's wild. I'm sorry. But it's like, you're going to learn multiplication and then you're going to know how to break that down. It's going to make more sense later. So that's reason number why. And that's the high priestess for me. Sometimes it's the title card for me more often than not. The second thing is me as an individual person. I'm not going to be able to give to you whatever you need beyond whatever beyond whatever the Ivory Shield is guarding. Maybe I'm wired in a different way. Maybe my beliefs work in a different way. Maybe the truths that are my truths are different enough that if I were to try to do whatever, I would mess it up. And she is my self accountability card of like not and recognizing her in that way. That's like me not giving you information that's going to steer you down the wrong path or be like less than helpful for two. And then like any variation of the two of those for three. And so again, for her to like peek out under the healer with this champion where it's like you get a princess instead of a prince, it's like again, it's don't go beyond this point or just respect the fact that even our knowing, even our intuition sometimes has limits because the world is in constant flux and there are a myriad of possibilities. But yeah, I don't want to use a deck that isn't put away. Like I want to, I already have a whole bunch of cards out, but I want to pull new cards out. I think I have the mini wild unknown. I also might just leave it because I don't know if it would be a little hypocritical of me to say respect what is unknown and then try to go find out. But the point today is that we're allowed to be nosy because it's the actual leap day. So I could. But with the champion at the bottom of the deck, I feel like things could still work out. Um, there may, of course, be like blows to the ego, or it may like we may have to cut our losses. There may be like sunk costs. It's like, but I already did this and I already did that. I can't like, and it's like you could. It's always my call on my channel. I just respect you and love when you help me. I'm kidding. What am I feeling like? And then I had an idea to like pull a bunch of decks and look before and after the title card and the High Priestess. Um, well, on a certain wavelength, not even wavelength. It's like this could be so many different things for so many different people. I feel like there isn't a great general whatever. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? But this was clearly intention. Again, like the middle is the intention. And it goes Three of Pentacles, the Lovers, and then the Ten of Cups. The Three of Pentacles is establishing that connection. The Lovers is when they come face to face. And then the joyous one is when they're a happy family. And then again, we see the champion with the single born fruit of the tree of knowledge that the phoenix was guarding. It's interesting that the phoenix was guarding the fruit because it's almost like if the phoenix is guarding the fruit, you got to catch it on a rebirth almost. And then we have the reaper to the right of the phoenix. See, the reaper allows something to like go through its cycle of winters to springs to summers to falls to winters. But the Knight of Pentacles stays the course, slow and steady, strong and true. And again, with the Reaper, something is changing. And so it may not necessarily be so, and or maybe the crone is a little like opportunistic. The crone is reading as opportunistic because underlying it's like things are purging and there's a new balance that's being sought. On the side of the crone, it's the Nine of Pentacles and the Magician. It's like, oh, like I could take advantage of this opportunity. While things are falling apart over here, I'll build something up over here. It's just like things are, but with the Nine of Pentacles, it's almost like you should have enough to sustain you. So to seek any more as an individual would be greedy because anything beyond the Nine of Pentacles is meant for many and not just one. Anyway, Does what make what conditional? I am confused. I'm also talking a lot. Excuse me. They do low key come across as low greedy and opportunistic on the side of the crown. The Phoenix. Now I'm more confused. Does that make what of the Phoenix conditional? Oh, or are you saying that like okay, yeah, okay, I got it. Yeah. Probably as you were typing it, I was like, "Oh, now I get it." Um, I would say not necessarily. I would say it depends. And I would say it depends because of I feel like I'm about to contradict myself, but maybe that's the point. I feel like it depends because of the Tower and the Two of Pentacles. And because the Tower in this deck shows the acts of Shiva and Shiva's Trishula, the acts of Shiva removes corruption. So if it's not corrupt, it's almost like if it's already up here, then it passes through and it feels like it can claim the fruit. But the fruit still has to ripen. If it does need to go through the Tower, then it will go through this like death process. And then when it reemerges, it'll get the fruit. And maybe that's another thing too here. Maybe that's something that was very, very subtly implied by the cards, but not so subtly. Because again, something about this magician on the side of the crown feels very like opportunistic and greedy. So it's like this energy is making plans, but it's getting towered. It's getting reapered. It wasn't, maybe it just like wasn't as aligned as it thought it was. And maybe that's why we have the comic in the temple. Oof. Oof. Imagine if like we could go before the divine. And again, it's also giving very entitled, opportunistic, and greedy. Because it's like imagine going before the divine and like, yeah, I am the whatever you were looking for, and then you get laughed at. The divine is like, oh, you got jokes. You're real funny. See, we told y'all humans they got jokes like we ain't got. You hear that, and then like we would be the ones who are like serious, and we're like, and then we're just like removed from the presence of the divine. And Thanatos is right here. Maybe that's part of it. And I do feel like I feel like in a not entirely avoidable way. Oh, what's the word? It popped into my mind. It's like moral. It starts with an S. It's almost like superiority. To have a feeling of moral superiority when it comes to certain things, because it's like, oh, well, I'm doing this and I'm doing that and I've accomplished whatever. It's like to know, it's like that fine line between like healthy ego and an excessive ego. It's the fine line between pride and being proud. But if there's a comfortability that we take in that because of a constant comparison to the point where it's like we don't keep up with our continued education, we fall behind. We can get lost in the times. It's like, yeah, but like the world has changed. You know what I mean? Like everybody has this now. It hasn't been exclusive for like decades. The world's actually beyond this, but it can be easy to get stuck in that moral. I feel like the word is in my brain, but it won't come out. Moral superiority complex that it's like, oh, well, I'm already whatever. I'm so far ahead of the game because I was ahead of the game 1,000 years ago, but I got left 900 years ago. You know what I mean? Okay, I don't have to be, I don't have to take it to that degree, but that's what makes this conditional on this point because that's why but then that would still make it conditional, but the condition would change. It is conditional, but it is possible to already have fulfilled the conditions. That's the answer. That's the answer that I feel comfortable giving as a dude who is humaning like the rest of us humans on this planet. It is conditional, but it's possible to have already met the conditions. It's not like you have to go through rebirth on like within this time. It's almost like this is, and again, that was the thing, right? That was the energy of the potential. It's like we're looking for this and we're looking for that. And as needs and desires surface as we go through this process of drafting, designing, going to engineering, testing, feasibility, doing market research, product tests, market analysis, like, excuse me, we'll get more and more and more clear on the direction that we want to go. And it's possible that something makes it from the very beginning to the very end. Like it is consistently checking the boxes. And then it's also possible that for a while something like is passing and it looks like it's going to be whatever, but then someone brings a new issue or concern, or there's like a huge part of the market that it like it doesn't address, and so they choose a different direction. You know what I mean? So anyway, I have no drink. This I used to get so confused. I used to just be like, "What is this?" Until I saw the eyes behind the eyes, and I was like, "Oh, it ain't a cat. It's pretending to be a cat." I wish I could be like, "What are you looking for?" But that wouldn't even like different things call for different kinds of people. You know what I mean? And yeah, that's it. I feel like I'm gonna try to do better for multiple reasons at like staying a little bit more relevant, about not branching off as much, about necessarily saying every thought or more thoughts that come to me, because I wouldn't say that I necessarily share every thought, but in some ways I share quite a bit of them. Things that may not even necessarily need to be said. Things that I guess because at first for a while, especially since 2020, I went through, oh, well, that makes sense because the South Node was on my North Node. I went through a like, I feel like it needs to be said phase. And maybe it still needs to be said, but maybe I'll feel more like I feel like it's something that needs to be said, but I don't necessarily feel like I'm the one that needs to say it. And I don't have to, you know, do everything or say everything or feel pressured internally or obligated. It's not even a pressure. It's just like, and especially at the time, it was just like, I feel like there are things that are very much so real life opportunities that it's like the common instruction was to just like dismiss it. All right, SKT, you get one more card and you got to come out. You got to say something. It didn't come out, but it whispered. It didn't whisper. The Chariot. And we see two sphinxes. Lux et Veritas, light and truth. We see all four cardinal signs on the shield of the Chariot and the SKT. The angel holds all four mutable signs. The world, of course, holds all four fixed signs. The golden shield was at the bottom of the deck under the champion, and she's still here at the bottom of the deck. Power and authority of fire. Let's read the Chariot together, because why not? And also, I can't wait to watch this back to see what the screen sharing looks like. Also, no, it's still open. Hello? Why is it not here? Hello? 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 There it is. Okay. So now we come to ordering the keys, maybe? No. Major Arcana. First Septenary. Key 7, the Chariot. So, attribute manifested, creating change. Chariot of Osiris, freedom by knowledge. And then again, we have the fruit. Can you even see me still? I'm holding these cards up as if you can see me, but you may not even be able to see me. We have the single born fruit of the tree of knowledge that we gain in the champion that was guarded by the phoenix. And the path on the spirit's journey is freedom by knowledge. This chariot is. This is the primordial spirit and personification of free will. Successfully working through the lessons and the trials of Key 7 will endow you with a gift from the spirit of the chariot, one of achieving an ambitious undertaking and mastery over exoteric knowledge. The realm that Key 7 leads to is the first realm to achieve dominion over the self and toward attaining wisdom and knowledge of the divine law. An armored knight adorned with an 8-pointed star on the helmet, the seal of prophets. Speaking of, prophecy, steers a canopied chariot pulled by two sphinxes, dark and light, representing the Urim and Thummim. One sphinx has eyes for seeing the light, the other has only an open mouth for speaking the truth. The hind leg of the sphinx who speaks is crushing its own tail, symbolizing the self-inflicted pain of speaking the truth. Crescents on their headdresses are reminiscent of divination moon blocks. Visualize the canopy as blue as a summer night sky. It is held up by the four pillars symbolic of the tetragrammation YHVH and the Proto-Canaanite alphabet, a shield bearing the cardinal zodiac signs Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn, indicated by the ram, crab, balancing scales, and goat, respectively, conceals the knight's acquired treasures, the sacred relics. What? Yeah, conceals for sure. Have I never read this? I didn't know that there were sacred relics. Kind of makes sense, though. Inscribed upon the chariot, Lux ex Veritas, light and truth, a translation of the Urim and Thummim. In the journey toward the Godhead, free will must be steered by light and truth. This card is a recognized achievement of the first series of challenges presented to the initiate. A tangible glory will have manifested for the initiate at this point. The initiate will have become the chariot, holding within the inner self acquired insight. The initiate is now a carrier of attained knowledge. Yet, how the initiate can use the knowledge, what is to come of this knowledge, the initiate still does not know. At this point, the attained knowledge is materialized but useless without discernible practical application. In ancient mythos, the chariot was associated with the sun and therefore an emblem of solar deities such as Mithra, Apollo, or Cybele. Cybele, I don't know. The chariot is also symbolic of spiritual elevation. In antiquity, the charioteer represented control over one's passions, desires, and therefore symbolized the exercise of logic and divine reason. There you go. Manifestation of this card is an omen to the seeker that the grail has been attained. However, the seeker appears to lack knowledge of how exactly to utilize the attained knowledge. There you go. So it mentioned sacred relics is what it read, right? But if you can still see me when I share screen. Okay. If Secret Realms is resonant to you, then take it. What's interesting, though, is we do see the Grail here in the Joyous One. It's right there. Right there. There it is. There it is. And Mars and Pisces. This was the card that started it all. This was the card that started it all. And it's fine. We ain't even got to go there. Cool. That's what I got. So, but that's interesting because again, we've attained and this was at the bottom of the deck. We've attained the single born fruit of the tree of knowledge and the champion. This is freedom by knowledge in the chariot. But again, it's like, well, what do you do with that knowledge? We may not necessarily have the application of that knowledge yet, which may be another thing. I don't know if I would necessarily lump that in with the crone, but I guess I could. No, that was the Phoenix. Oh, I think I almost read Phoenix as Sphinx because my brain saw a PH in an X and was like, Sphinx. And it's like, no, it's a Phoenix. So there you go. What does this mean? I don't know. But it's leap day. We won't get another one for another 4 years. So, how do we learn to apply this knowledge? Let's just see. I'm going to look before and after the title card. And these will be the last cards that I pull. I'm fanning the cards out and I don't even see the title card. LOL. They're like, we are well within the realm of enter at your own peril, past the bolted door. Because we's in High Priestess in title card territory. Oh, look, it's the moon. The Necromancer, LOL, with the 2 jackals, also with their half moon, whatevers. Wow. And then we see the scarab eclipsing the moon. Or we see the scarab in front of the moon. I'm trying to pick this card up. Just like in the Shining Quarry. But in the moon, it's heading in a different direction. It's heading up and to the right. The scarab here is going up and to the left. Does that matter? I don't know. And then the other card is the Wheel of Life. We have the Necromancer and the Wheel of Life. We got 4 more Sphinxes. 2 more. It's only 2 in the Vitruvian edition. There are 4 Sphinxes in the Revelations edition. 2 jackals, 2 Sphinxes, 2 of those birds. Jupiter and Pisces. Oh my gosh. And it is Pisces season. And then here's the title card, of course, that was in between them. Oh, the Wheel of Life is here. So you can see the North Node world is the same as the Wheel of Life. And the South Node world is the Wheel of Life in reverse. There you go. That was Jupiter in Capricorn. We also have Jupiter in Leo. If you want me to read signs and stuff, we have Venus. No, that's Mercury. Sorry. We got Mercury, Venus in Virgo, Mars in Capricorn, Jupiter in Capricorn, Mars, Gemini, Scorpio, Mars in Pisces, Jupiter in Leo, Cancer, Jupiter, and Pisces. We have Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio on the table. Interesting. So interesting. Anyway, I don't know if I am, honestly. This Pisces season has been wild. Wild in ways that I care not for. Things coming up, I'm like, but I didn't have to know. I didn't have to be made aware of this on some hand. And it's like, I feel like Pisces season is very like, but also kind of cute at the same time. It's very weird. I feel like I'm seeing both fish of Pisces this Pisces season. I feel like they are both just doing whatever. So I'm gonna put these back. I'm gonna get final cards. Ooh, it's a little earlier than I thought it was. You're not looking forward to Aries season? I think I am, strangely. I'm not saying I'm ready for Pisces season to be over. Like before Pisces season started, I was talking with my journey buddy, and I was like, we were trying to feel into Pisces season. And Pisces season, before it even started, felt kind of like not WTFy, but it felt like there would be a surprise, like a good surprise, but also like a surprise. And I'm just like, or like a shock. Not necessarily a bad one. Forest at the bottom. The mountain. We already saw these, the mountain and the forest. Cool. Maybe the holy mountain vibes, who knows? Now, Aries season, I don't know. Just like my first impression of Aries season, it feels refreshing in some way. Don't ask me why. But I don't know, it just feels like refreshing. I don't know if it feels refreshing or if the word, like it feels like the word refreshing is coming to my mind more so than the feeling of like being refreshed is coming to my senses. If that makes sense. I need a lot of rest before Aries season. I feel like I need to hibernate. I need to sleep. I feel like I'm needing more sleep than usual lately, and I'm not getting the rest that I need. But Patrick, why aren't you getting the rest that you need? Because I don't always make great choices, and I live with the consequences every day. When I'm yawning at work. Okay. Oh. The Creator. It's in reverse. But again, there are no reversals in this deck. Number 22 fell out right on top of the Joyous one. And the bottom of the deck is the King. which is interesting. The Creator and the King, 22 and 12. Okay. Cool. The Creator, the Mountain. Oh, I was like, oh, like Holy Mountain. And then the Creator came out. LOL. See, I made the joke. It's almost giving me, not necessarily, but it has a vibe that runs along the Ten of Wands in the Pride Tarot because it talks about someone going on a spiritual journey, meeting their creator, and being like, why did you make my life so hard? But I was like joking about, like, imagine if you can go to the divine and you're like, okay, I'm here, I'm ready. And they're just like, that's funny. You got jokes. You, the person who lists off everything that, we may think that we then got away with because what nobody there or didn't nobody know it was us or whatever. But this is like, well, I guess we ain't got a thing yet. Meeting the creator of that mountain. See, y'all are trying to come out. Nope. You'll have to do better than that. All right, give me a thing. We have the creator, we have the mountain, we've seen the king, and we've seen the forest. The vibe of 2020 was those who find their way or those who navigate out of the mist will find themselves in a space of mastery. And I talked about that when I was out on the balcony, when I was out on the balcony in the fog in London. And then my friend sent me a picture out in the fog, sitting on the floor like, oh, they got me. They got me. The bottom of the deck is the ring. Number 72. So we had 22, 12. Now we got, no, this is 57. This is not 72. This is number 57, which is a 12, which is the king. Let me stop. Who fell on the floor? Why are we still the nectar? Aw, which is number 58. 57, 58. Look at that, 57, 58. The nectar fell on the floor. We have the mirror, which is number 68. We got so many cards. The stone, the gem, and Thanatos. The stone, the gem, and Thanatos is interesting. And then we have face down, the venom, and the seed. Oof. No, this is literally a bad seed. This is either literally a bad seed or this is an environment that is toxic to the seed. So we may think that it's a bad seed, but maybe in reality it's its environment. It's just like it's hazardous to growth. It's hazardous to the growth of anything but venom. And then we have these. This is a lot of cards. I'm going to put them back. I'm just putting them back. I don't feel like mixing them yet. You almost got me. I mean, they did get me. But I was like, ha, I got it. All these cards tried to come out, and then I got distracted, and they all hit the table. The card that came out is the ring. The 57, that is the 12, that is the king. Here is the ring. Boom. What's at the bottom of the deck? The sword. Number 62. The sword. Oh, that's interesting. This is giving me cobalt. I think this is cobalt energy. And if we're talking about cobalt, I'm pretty sure that's cobalt. Anyway, no. Yeah, pretty sure that's cobalt. So like, I know this is like a lot of faces. I think I literally just pieced that together. I was like, wait, wait, wait. Yeah, cool. The creator, who was it? The creator, the mountain and the ring. Is that y'all know my sci-fi is rusty. Is that the Lord of the Rings? We have the creator, the mountain and the ring. No Gimli. I'm just playing. I don't even know who Gimli is. I think Gimli may be a dwarf, but I could be very much so wrong. Let's look up Gimli. Where's my phone? Maybe Gimli is a whatever. Gimli. Gimli is a fictional character in J.R.R. Tolkien's Middle-earth, appearing in The Lord of the Rings, a dwarf warrior. He is the son of someone who was a member of Thorin's company in Tolkien's earlier book, The Hobbit. He represents the race of dwarves as a member of the Fellowship of the Ring. As such, he is one of the primary characters in the story. In the course of the adventure, Gimli aids the ring bearer Frodo Baggins, participates in the War of the Ring, and becomes close friends with Legolas. Yeah, so he was the dwarf, overcoming an ancient enmity of dwarves and elves. There you go. So Gimli was the dwarf that was with him. And then Legolas was like, I see something. I don't remember. But in the Lord of the Rings universe, elves have such keen sight because the world is rounded for everyone except for elves. It's still flat for the elves, so they can sail beyond the curvature of the world. But since the world is flat to them, they can see farther. Their vision isn't affected by the curvature of the earth in the same way that literally every other race is in the Lord of the Rings. That's a little bit of what I know. And that came from Tumblr, I'm pretty sure. Anyway. Excuse me. All right, SKT. Ooh, I see the Empress at the cut with that golden shield. SKT, what you got for me? Oh, it's face down. Let's see. Bottom of the deck is the Destroyer, the Ten of Swords. Now, this Destroyer isn't your Revelations Destroyer. The Revelations Destroyer is about purifying the vessel to receive a divine gift. This Destroyer, let's dive back into the Book of Maps, shall we? Let us go back to the Book of Maps. The realm of tens. Where are the tens at? Oh, literally. I keep forgetting that it's collapsed. This is mounting. 10 is the number of transformation. It is the mounting atop a peak and now the waning or unwinding period down to repeat the cycle in another incarnation. The Destroyer. A three-headed warrior spirit with four arms grasps onto three swords that have been pierced into a wounded figure on the ground. Seven other swords are already stabbed into the figure. The front-facing head has her mouth covered. The one to the left is deaf. The one to the right is blindfolded. Is the warrior spirit stabbing the swords into the wounded figure, or is the warrior spirit here to help pull those swords out of the wounded figure? Blood pours from the wounds and pool in the foreground. The skies are black, but for streaks of golden yellow and aurora. A range of dark mountains is in the back. The ground is like scorched earth. This is ruin personified. This is the dance of Kali. A wave of catharsis will crash into the shores of your psyche. The largest of the swords is pierced into the point opposite the heart, which is the anatomical energy switch in the human body for spirit problems and emotional wounds. This point is also called the wing point. When strong, it activates the halo of Shin, or divine protection. Here it has been macerated, implying a fall from grace. One back arm of the warrior spirit is raised close to the hilt of that largest sword. Close to the hilt? Oh, this sword. I was like, that hand is on the hilt. Hello? Oh wait, no, this is. I'm confused. No, I'm confused. I am confused. Is this a? Oh, in the background, the hand is raised towards the hilt. It's on that one, and it's on this one. Oof. She said four arms, but I'm almost like I would assume that there's six. Anyway, I felt like finally testing this new screen sharing feature that they added to YouTube. Oof. The Chancellor. Justice is the card that came out face down. So it's like Justice is handing the sword to this destroyer. Behind the destroyer, Sun in Gemini, is the sun. And behind that is the devil. Behind the devil is the outlaw. And behind the outlaw is sacred fire. So yeah, it's like pretty much deserved. Oh, look. We see that here. And we see that here. Which may be it is what it is. Excuse me. Oh, see, the blindfolded one is the one reaching for the biggest sword. Is that the point? I guess it is the point opposite the heart. The blindfolded one is the one that's reaching for the biggest sword, and then Justice, the Chancellor, is blindfolded. We see the Ankh upright in Justice, but in reverse in the Outlaw. We saw the Empress at the cut. So maybe there's an energy of injustice here. I don't know. And it's interesting that we have a single born fruit of the tree of knowledge, because that is the tree that Adam was told not to eat of. Eve wasn't told not to eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Adam was told. But I almost wonder if it isn't more of that, like the crone in the mask, more of that ivory shield. It's like, I wonder if maybe sometimes we try to force an attainment of a knowledge that we don't know what to do with. It's almost like knowledge without context can be as dangerous, if not more dangerous, than ignorance. But we are so encouraged. If Eve is hungry, she's going to get a margarita pizza. I'm just playing. Let me stop. And maybe a glass of wine. I need a margarita. Oh, I need a glass of wine. Margarita pizza is pushing it. Margarita pizza. Oof. But yeah, I almost wonder if it's almost like knowledge without context is just as dangerous, if not more, than ignorance. And like that's why it's like, don't even worry about it. But we try, I don't know. It is what it is. This was what it was. I guess the hidden leap year message is that something is ripe. It's beyond ripe. It may be here, but it may be in a space and in a direction. Um, or it may come in a form that is unexpected or that we thought had died. Take it as it resonates. Use your own intuition and discernment. I don't, I feel like maybe I'm entering a space or a phase where where it's like, I don't know, I feel like I shouldn't have to, I don't know how to phrase it. It's not that I shouldn't have to. I guess I'm going to trust that you have discernment, know how to use it, and you got intuition and know how to use it. And so, like, I don't have to be like, obviously, if this was a situation that ended because it needed to end, and it's like at the end of the day, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. Um, but it's not necessarily like, oh, well, there was this person that I was interested in, and that relationship didn't go anywhere. But now you're telling me that after it was dead, it's coming back to life. So I'm going to go back. And that's not what I said. But if that's how it resonates for you, live your life. I guess you journey on your journey, and it ain't for me to know where that journey leads you or takes you. We in real general territory. We always in real general territory, but I don't know. Because for you, it could be something that comes back, and it could be something that is transformed, and it could be something that is healthy in a way that it wasn't at that time. Oh, snap. Oh my gosh, that is not necessary, but thank you. All right, well, I hope you all have an amazing whatever whenever you see this. I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. I'm going to leave you with, I'm going to break my own rule that wasn't a rule. I'm going to grab you a card that's already out because I need help being nice. The universe has your back. I love this deck. For when I need a crutch, say something nice, cards. All right, to close us out, the universe has your back. I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. I hope that whatever you need along your path journey and where you find, be it courage, be it sage advice, be it whatever it is. And to close this out, the universe has your back has this to say. You got a few things to say. My faith has the power to turn trauma into healing, conflict into growth, and fear into love. For one, I do whatever it takes to get closer to consciousness. For two, The key to prayer is to forget what I think I need. For 3. And lastly, joy is the ultimate creator, and the creator is the archetype of person that came out. So there you go. I guess you probably want to read it. Joy is the ultimate creator. There you go. Bottom of the deck is my fearless freedom lights up the world. I don't know if I've seen this one before. My fearless freedom lights up the world. So, with that being said, thank you for being here. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for spending time with me. I hope that if you sat through this, it resonate for you in some way, even if that way is just like, this one ain't for me. You know what I mean? So anyway, Trey, drops of Jupiter. Excuse me, unintelligible yawning. All right, I will catch y'all later. Bye.